students today, so I should get more pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know so many kids will show up. I guess you missed me too much. Yeah, it works both ways. It's a pleasure to be back, people. I'm just going to do me a favor. If you want to be a close that thing, please. And the word that you said is found in the bathroom, not here. Somebody said the SH word. That's in the bathroom, not here. So if you see that, please go to the bathroom. Don't say it. Whoever it was, I just heard. I didn't see. They say joke. If somebody takes bribe, he becomes blind. A judge that takes bribe becomes blind. That's what the Torah says. So there was a judge that they said rumors that he takes bribes. Do me a favor. You want to talk? Walk out. I'm very serious. You could walk out. Come back for the pizza. I'm not kidding. Next guy's out. All right. Thank you. I was a teacher for 8 years. Anyway, so there was this guy that actually there was rumors that he takes bribes, but he became deaf. So that's him. Why are you different? He says because I only heard the promises of bribe. I never saw it with my eyes. So he just heard it, so he became deaf. So I didn't see who said it, but I heard the words. So please, guys, watch out. Anyways, let me just share a story. I usually say something on the parasha. I'm not going to take more than 7-8 minutes of your time. But this time, actually, we're going to say a story of tzaddikim. And the reason for that is because, this past month of Teves, you have Choftala Teves. That was the Alter Rebbe's yard site. The first Rebbe of Chabad did have a yard site. Yud Shvat is coming. The previous Lubavitch Rebbe passed away. So we're going to say actually a story from the first Chabad Rebbe. It's a story with him and Rab Meir Refaels. Rab Meir Refaels was a very big leader, which was anti-Hasidic movement. Very, very strong. Against, Baal Shem Tov, against Hasidut. And then there's a whole story. How did he become to be a Chassid of the first Chabad Rebbe? So the story is as follows. There was a certain Chassid of the first Chabad Rebbe, which his daughter, his daughter was married and the husband disappeared. Worst situation, right? Because she can't get remarried, but she doesn't have a husband. She's stuck. So this man goes to the first Rebbe of Chabad, to the Alter Rebbe, and he says, listen, please do something for my daughter. She needs to get remarried, at least find a husband, get a divorce, so she could get remarried and go on with the life. So the Alter Rebbe says, you know what, you have to go to the city of Vilna. The Alter Rebbe was in, Lyozna, right? You have to go to the city of Vilna. It's a different country, I think. And over there, you have to go see the leader of Meir Refaels. Your daughter should go there and say, please find my husband. But this guy had no money. I was going to get, money to get a wagon to go to Vilna. So the Hasidim collected money. They gave a lot of money to him, gave it to the daughter, and he goes to the city of Vilna, knocks on the door of Rab Meir Refaels. Obviously, a tzaddik, a Talmid Chacham. He's in Beis Medrash the whole day. So the wife opens the door and he says, I'm here to see Rab Meir Refaels. He has to find my husband. So the wife says, he's not here. Wait till he comes back from Beis Medrash. He came back from Beis Medrash. And he says, I am a daughter of a chassid of the Alter Rebbe. And you have to find my husband. And he says, what are you talking about? You're from Lyozna. I don't know. I'm in Vilna. How am I supposed to know where your husband is? And he says, I don't care. My Rebbe sent me here. And he came every day, knocked on the door, find my husband. So Rab Meir Refaels went crazy. And he said, lady, okay, you know what? Go find a hotel, where to stay. If I find your husband, I'll come to you. Don't come to me, knock on my door every day. So she agrees. Actually, she did not agree. She still came every day knocking on the door. So one day, Rab Meir Refaels, being the leader of the Jewish community, he had access to the police department. If there were Jews that were thrown unrightfully into jails, he would go try to do Pidyon Shvuim, right? You guys know about it. Right? In tzedakah itself, the biggest tzedakah is Pidyon Shvuim. When you redeem people from jail, if they're not criminals, but for bad reason, for no good reason. I mean, anyway, so what happens is the police department comes, the chief of police, and he says, there are certain Jews. You want to see them? We are passing by the city, so I came to you. So Rab Meir Refaels goes there, and he says, my gosh, this guy has the signs or looks like the identity that this woman gave. So he calls the woman and he says, come with me to the police station. Can you identify your husband? And she says, yes, this is my husband. She gets a get and goes home and she gets remarried. It looks like this guy did something criminal. He was thrown in jail. Whatever, some cheating stuff. Anyways, Rab Meir Refaels was going crazy. I thought till now that, Hasidim are crazy people. They're not normal. And now this Rebbe, if you heard, they're like a cult. I've been told that, but when I became Chabad myself, I'm a cult on this. Thank God now there is peace. None of these things are said. It was all Lashon Hara. We're all Jews. Doesn't matter which group we belong to. Anyway, so he says maybe the Alter Rebbe has some truth, some kedusha to him, but he was afraid. He didn't know. Maybe it was just free chance. Maybe God had pity on this lady, nothing to do with the first Rebbe of Chabad. So he just keeps it to himself, doesn't say anything. A few months went by, guys. This is an interesting part. And we're going to learn one line of the Gemara in Brochus. So what happens is a few months goes by, a guest comes into city of Vilna. In the olden days, if the guest was a Talmid Chacham, he would go to the Beis Medrash. And he would open up the Gemara. Remember, those days, thank God today, even if somebody never learned Gemara, you have Art Scroll, you have translation, thank God. Even a beginner could open up a Gemara and learn on his own. Thank God for that. In the olden days, there was no such thing. If somebody went to the Beis Medrash and opened up a Gemara, it was a sign that he's a real Talmid Chacham. So he comes in on a Thursday night, and when the Talmid Chacham comes in, all the Gedolim of the city, all the, the rich guys of the city are going to invite him for Shabbos, ask him, are you here for Shabbos? Yes, I'm here for Shabbos. Could you please come to our house? So he says, yeah, I'm going to come to your house on one condition. I'm going to sleep in the Beis Medrash. I don't want to sleep in your house. So they agreed. So he goes to the house Friday night, this Talmid Chacham, and they're saying, the Torah, everything is fantastic. After Birkat Hamazon, the Balabas, the owner of the house, is there any problem in the back? Thank you. So the Balabais, what happens is he gives a a deep sigh, like something is bothering him. Same thing happens tomorrow. By the second Sauda, after Birkat Hamazon and the Torah, he gives another sigh. But Shalashudas gives another sigh. After Havdalah, when the guy is about to go, he sighs again. So this guest says, tell me, something is bothering you. Why are you sighing so much? He says, yeah, I'll tell you why. You know what? Because somebody went and said some bad stuff about us to the government, and we're really not guilty. And we don't know what to do. And we might lose all our money, we might be thrown in jail. We don't know what to do. This guy happens to be a chassid, this guest. And he says, you know what? Why don't you go? I'm sorry, I don't want to tell you that I'm a Chabad chassid. Why don't you go to my Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe? Maybe he's going to help you. These guys, what? Alter Rebbe, come, forget it. So they were discussing. He brings his partner. He had a partner, by the way, this host. Talks to his partner. They say, you know what? We're not going to decide on our own. We're going to ask our Rav Meir Refaels. Let's see what he says. So that the story with that woman who was Aguna was fresh in his mind. So he says, you know what? You're asking me to go to the first Sabbath of Chabad or not? You should go. But don't tell anybody. And he tells them what happened with that woman that lost her husband. Whatever he tells you, come back. I want to know myself if this rabbi is real or is freak. It was a freak accident. So freak accident when they found his husband. So they go to the Alter Rebbe, they tell their problem, and they're crying. The Alter Rebbe says, you guys look like Talmidei Chachamim. No? I want to ask you a question, what the Gemara says. The Gemara says in Brachos that the kingdom on the earth, is similar to the kingdom in heaven. Right? It says Malchusa the Ara, the kingdom on earth. Ken Malchusa the Rakia. Do you know what it means? These guys had no idea. So he explains to them. It's very simple. Like in Russia, you don't call the Tsar with his first name. You call him the Tsar. Also, we don't call God with his proper name, Yud Kei Vav Kei. You can't. So that's how they're similar. Just like you don't call the Tsar with his first name, you don't call him Nikolai. I think his name was whatever his name was, Nikolai maybe. You don't call him with his first name, you call him the Tsar. So you don't call God with his proper name, Yud Kei Vav Kei. So they said, okay, what about our problem? So the Rebbe says, I can't help you anymore. That's all. So these guys thought the first step of Chabad really is like not normal. I don't like to use this word, but retarded. It doesn't sound normal. We have a problem. You teach us a Gemara. What is this? So they go to Meir Refaels and I tell him this is what he told us. So Meir Refaels says, you know what? I think I was right. They're really a cult. They don't know what they're talking about. Just forget about it. Anyways, now the day comes, they had a court case. They don't know, the court case was coming close. They didn't know what to do. They heard that the Supreme Judge every day takes a walk in a park that was only for the great, the dignitaries of Russia. So they learn, go there. When he comes there, saying just fall in front of his feet and beg him, please, we are not guilty. Just do something to save us from, our problem. So they go there and they find the gardener. They give the gardener money as a bribe. When the supreme judge comes, let us know. On that day, the supreme judge was sick. I'm going to ask you please to leave. You could come back for a pizza. Yeah, please go. If you can't sit for 5 minutes, I'm sorry, you're going to be sorry? You're not going to make noise anymore? Then you could sit down. Listen, I've been a teacher. I've been very tough guy, I promise you. I could be tough. Don't try me. Thank you. One more time happens, you're going to be up. Anyway, so what happens is, I was serious. Okay. Anyway, so on that day, the judge was absent. He was sick. The minister of education is walking there. They think he's the judge. They run to him and they tell him, please save us. We are not guilty. He says, sorry, I'm not a judge. I'm a minister of education. They were felt so bad. They came all the way here. They bribed the gardener to let him in, and he's not the right person. So they leave. A few minutes later, Minister of Education calls them, guys. This is the punchline. Minister of Education calls them, and he says, you know what? Maybe I will be able to help you. The way I can help you is, the Tsar is very interested in other religions. He's a very, very educated guy, and he came across your Talmud. Your Talmud says that a kingdom on earth is similar to the kingdom in heaven. Please leave the class, sir. You could get up. No chances. Yeah, just get up. It's okay, just get up. Do me a favor, get up. I get too many chances. Get up. Get up. I don't need to make an example of everybody. You should have learned from him. Just walk out. Please do not come back for pizza. You could come back next week. No. You get in trouble for not listening to his mistakes. Trying the mistake again. Please walk up. I'm saying, don't, I'm not a teacher, but don't try me out. Thank you. Thanks, sir. I hope you understand. I don't hate you, God forbid. I'm sorry. It's not even 10 minutes yet. Part of it was quieting you guys down. It happens. Anyway, so he says, you know what? The Tsar, I'm a minister of education, and he expects me to know certain things. Can you just put it down for him? What have to do stupid stuff? What happened? I'm not here for 3 weeks. You guys get like crazy a little bit, or I go crazy. I become intolerant. So what happens is, he says, the Tsar came across your Talmud, and the Talmud says the kingdom on earth is like kingdom in heaven, and I didn't know what it means, and he expects me to know. I'm a minister of education. Could you explain it to me? So these guys knew what the Alter Rebbe told them. Yeah, exactly. The Tsar, you don't call him with his first name, you call him the Tsar. That's exactly like God. You don't call him with his proper name. So they told him. He was so happy. He told the Tsar, this is the meaning of the Gemara. And the Tsar accepted it. So he told the Tsar, with his connections, that these guys should get saved. These guys got saved completely. And they came to Meir Refaels and they told him that really the Alter Rebbe had this prophecy. He saw what's going to happen. So then one night, he packed his bags and he traveled to Liozna. He came out to be the chassid of the Alter Rebbe. Please